Hello, I am delighted to be here to talk to you today about how you can learn machine learning with AWS. You can get started with ML with no PhD required, and in this presentation I'm going to tell you about all of the resources and tools available for you to do that with AWS. My name is Sally Ravel. I am a product marketing lead here at Amazon, and I'll be with you here for the next few minutes to walk you through all of this great content. Right, let's get started. So what are we going to cover? We're going to go through a bit of context about ML on AWS, and then we're going to dive into some of the specific tools and resources that we have available for you. So some of you may have heard about AWS DeepRacer. If not, you're going to learn all about it today. Also, AWS DeepLens 2019 edition. We have a fantastic curriculum of machine learning training content and a certification program, which is essentially the same content that is used to train the engineers inside of Amazon on AI and ML. And then we're going to go through the resources that are available. So let's get started. Why is ML important? Well, there's been a lot of hype around AI and machine learning and the potential to drive digital transformation in the enterprise. So what does that mean? Why is this important? Well, many companies out there, including yours, whether it's your own startup or a large corporation that you work for, are really looking at ways to gain competitive advantage. And each year, Gartner, one of the analysts you may have heard of, authors a report around the hype cycle for emerging technologies. For the last 4 years, running machine learning and deep learning have been at the peak of the hype cycle. Even though ML has been around for about 50 years, most of the common machine learning techniques we use today were invented decades ago. But with cloud computing, AI and ML have really been able to become accessible to everybody, to all businesses, regardless of their size. And so what we're looking to do as AWS is enable that access to all businesses so you can benefit from that growth. What about the skills that are needed to do this, though? So those of you who are developers out there, many developers I've spoke to have said, but I'm just an everyday developer. Well, yeah, there's definitely a gap in skills, and we're here to help close that gap. It is predicted by the World Economic Forum that the growth in AI and ML could create 58 million net new jobs in the next few years, but yet other recent research says that there's currently only 300,000 AI engineers worldwide. So, you don't have to be a math genius to work out there's a pretty big gap there, and there's a unique and immediate opportunity for every developer, every engineer to build those skills, to make sure that they're ready for that growth and all ready to get ahead and be part of that incredible growth and future of business. And we're here to help you advance your AI and ML capabilities through some hands-on and fun learning experiences that I'm going to talk about throughout this presentation. So before we go any further, let's talk about ML in the broader context of AI. So let's start by defining what is AI. So artificial intelligence seeks to create machines that can make predictions based on the data that they are given. So it has some intelligence. Machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence. This is where we seek to give those systems the ability to automatically learn and improve from the experience without being explicitly programmed. And what we're all about at AWS is really machine learning. So it's those inputs and the ability to create AI models. Within ML, there are 3 different forms of ML: supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement learning. So just to briefly touch on those, because we'll talk a little bit about RL later when we talk about DeepRacer. Supervised learning is where you build a model to predict a value or a classification of data. Models are trained using large amounts of curated training data consisting of a label and data pairs to learn. These models learn to accomplish a well-defined single task and don't scale easily to other tasks or subtasks without new data. Unsupervised learning is where you can build a model to classify data, and the models are trained to identify similarities in large amounts of data to aid classification. The training of data does not have explicit labels. Reinforcement learning is what we've been doing with our friend DeepRacer here. So it's where you build a model to make autonomous decisions in an environment. The models are trained in an environment like a racetrack by learning from an interaction with that environment and learns through a reward function. So that's like the Cliff Notes version of what AI and ML is. And because this whole presentation today is going to go into some of the very specific ways that you can learn how to interact with these different forms of AI and ML. So our mission at AWS is to put machine learning into the hands of every developer. And really that's quite literally when you think about we have physical devices like DeepRacer and DeepLens. So how do we do that? Said another way, we really want to simplify machine learning. We want to make it easy for all developers to easily build intelligent applications. How do we do that? Well, we do that because we have the broadest and deepest set of machine learning and AI services available to you. Secondly, we can accelerate your adoption of machine learning with SageMaker. SageMaker is a managed service that takes a number of required steps to build, train, and tune and deploy ML models and makes it much easier for everyday developers and data scientists. And thirdly, you get the confidence with AWS that you're building on the most comprehensive cloud platform optimized for ML. Think about it. Machine learning requires not only machine learning services, but also the right security, data store, analytics, and compute services working together. So really, with AWS, you get this whole set of comprehensive capabilities. And more machine learning happens on AWS than anywhere else. We've got thousands of customers, tons of customer references, and in fact, something that many of you may not know is that 85% of TensorFlow projects in the cloud already happen on AWS. So, I'm reassuring you that AWS is the place to do it, but what actually are the capabilities and the services that we have? So at AWS, we think about machine learning as having three macro layers in the stack. The bottom layer, where we talk about ML frameworks and infrastructure, is really for machine learning practitioners. These are people who are comfortable designing their own tools and workflows to build, train, tune, and deploy models. They're comfortable in operating at the framework and infrastructure level. And I'm guessing if you've joined this webinar today, this isn't where you're going to be operating because you've come to a webinar that's entitled Learn Machine Learning, no PhD required. Most of the folks operating at that level are going to have PhDs. The middle layer of the stack is for ML developers and data scientists. This is where we've simplified the entire ML workflow to make it easier to build, train, and deploy models with services like Amazon SageMaker. And the top layer is a set of AI services that should allow you to even be more effective in your everyday activities, and really a great starting point to build better customer experiences and better business operations for your customers. All of these services are really useful, and there's a huge number at this point, but where do you really get started with machine learning? We said our mission was to put machine learning in the hands of every developer. And so what have we been doing to do that? Take a listen to the story of Alex Schultz, and he's going to tell you exactly how he got started in machine learning.
My name is Alex Schultz, and I'm a software engineer, and I work in an innovation lab at my company, and we work with machine learning and deep learning and artificial intelligence. I think there's this notion that you have to be a math major or have a PhD to get into machine learning, and I can tell you that's not the case. I come from a regular development background. I got this job about 4 months ago, and it all pretty much started with AWS and participating in the DeepLens challenge. This is my project submission for the AWS DeepLens challenge. I was coming up with all these ideas and things that I could do. When I first started, I built a project called Deep Stash where you just draws mustaches on people's faces. That was kind of fun. But I was reading to my kids one night.
Why would I be afraid of a long tongue, I asked. Well, I don't know, he said.
The idea just came to me like, what if something else could actually read these books to my kids? So I created this project called Read to Me, which actually takes children's books and reads them out loud to children.
Would you like to read a story?
When I first started building this thing, I had to kind of break it down into steps. First thing, we had to find the block of text. You have to run it through something called OCR, so optical character recognition. And then I sent that off to Amazon Poly, turned it to speech, and then I got the audio file back.
And I said, how I wish we had something to do.
I told my kids that, hey, if I win, then I'll give each you $100. Sort of half jokingly, like, oh, I'm not gonna win this. Like, there's no way. Well, then I won, and then, they came asking for they came with their hands out. They're like, all right, Dad, here, pay up.
And I'm excited to announce the launch of a new sports league, AWS DeepRacer League.
The next year at reInvent, when they announced the DeepRacer, my initial thought was, how does a self-driving car know what to do? The DeepLens is built on a OpenVINO platform, and there's an Intel GPU on the chip, which is the same setup on the DeepRacer. So going from DeepLens to DeepRacer was a pretty natural progression. It's a fun way to learn. You can take the code that they already have as an example, and then through the console, they've really abstracted away a lot of the heavy lifting. It's really cool that AWS built this platform, the AWS DeepRacer, where normal developers can kind of get in and get their feet wet with reinforcement learning. DeepLens, DeepRacer, they're ways that you can get your hands dirty. You can go from there. I don't think I'd be where I'm at now without DeepLens and DeepRacer.
Okay, so we saw that Alex has used DeepLens and DeepRacer to help him get started on his machine learning journey. So to get developers hands-on with ML, we have those two services, and also we have the machine learning certification program. I'm going to dive into each one of these over the next few slides so you understand exactly what's available, how to access it, where those resources are, and where you can get started on your machine learning journey today. The first place that you can go to is this brand new website that we've set up that's called Get Started with Machine Learning, No PhD Required. You're going to find a whole host of resources there, giving you access to tutorials, fact sheets, learning paths, videos, case study examples. So I really recommend that you go check it out. But without further ado, let's dive into DeepRacer first of all. So what is DeepRacer? It's a fully autonomous 1/18th scale race car, which gives you a fun and exciting way to get started with reinforcement learning. I mean, if you have any contact with AWS or been to any of our summits, you must have heard about DeepRacer at this point. I have a DeepRacer car here. They are available for pre-order on the market right now, but essentially we've had folks racing DeepRacers all over the world physically at 20 AWS Summit events and in the virtual race. So, how do you do this? So DeepRacer is comprised of three main parts. The robotic autonomous race car. We have the online racing simulator that is powered by RoboMaker and SageMaker. And then we have the virtual racing league. So essentially, if you have a car, if you were lucky enough to get one at reInvent 2018, then great. If you don't have a car, that's also great because we have a complete online racing experience and competition available for everybody anywhere worldwide in the DeepRacer League. So what are the races that are upcoming? We have races in person at AWS events. There's only 2 left in for the rest of this year, one in Mexico City on August 29th and Toronto on October the 3rd. The virtual circuit, we have 3 virtual races left in this year. Right now, we've got the Shanghai Sudo running. That race is open till August 31st. You can enter that at any time. And then on that date, we'll launch the next following monthly race. And we now have weekly challenges. So in each of these challenges, this is for people who are in the virtual race, and we have like these mini games going. So the challenges that we have right now are the time target challenge, where this challenge awards developers that submit lap times close to 50 seconds. And then every week we always have the rookie challenge. So we're always looking for the best performers of brand new first time leaderboard places. What's really cool about the DeepRacer concept is it's a way to learn machine learning, and underneath that it's reinforcement learning, but you're able to do this in a super fun and engaging way through racing autonomous race cars. But how do you get started in actually learning how to build those models? Well, we thought of that too. We set up a 90-minute training course that is available for free. You can follow this link on the slide, and you can access that, and it will walk you through exactly how you can build the model, tune your hyperparameters, get all of the racing tips and tricks so you can get a really great time in the DeepRacer League. I've also included the link on here for DeepRacer Racing Tips. This is a website where we're gathering all of the tips and tricks that are coming in from the community. So we've got thousands of racers out there worldwide. They're really working out how to get those fastest time. And the great thing is they're sharing that knowledge. So check out the racing tips to find out what your fellow racers are doing out there. Not only that, we found this super fun and interesting way for you to learn machine learning without a PhD. It's turned into a TV show. We saw so much excitement from the developer community at reInvent. We thought this was the perfect opportunity to give those developers the spotlight. And what better way to capture the magical moments of them racing on the tracks, them going from zero machine learning knowledge to winning a race in some cases with their models that they've built, than to create a TV show. So you can find it live now on Amazon Prime Video or on YouTube. Just search for DeepRacer TV. We actually have 4 episodes out there right now. Episode 1 from Amsterdam, the next one was Sydney, Australia, London, and we just released the episode from Tokyo in Japan. So you get to see how the DeepRacer phenomenon and all of those tips and tricks from fellow racers around the world. Here's a sneak peek of the London episode, just to give you an idea of what the show's like.
You're gonna like this one.
Being the defending champion, we feel like we have to represent.
See if I can give them run for their money.
Raul to dodge. Can he do it?
They do machine learning for a living. I just started a week ago.
All eyes on Tomas in his final run of the day. Can he improve?
What if I could actually win this?
Welcome to the world's first autonomous racing league. Developers of every skill level, from all corners of the globe, compete for the ultimate prize in machine learning. Welcome to DeepRacer TV.
Okay, so that's all about DeepRacer. So for those of you who want to learn now more about another way that you can get hands-on and learn machine learning, I'm going to go through DeepLens 2019 edition. So what is AWS Deep Lens? So this was the first AI-enabled device that we launched as AWS, and we just launched a new version of this. So it's the world's first deep learning-enabled video camera. It allows developers of all skill levels to get started with deep learning. And essentially, you can train the models in Amazon SageMaker or use a sample model to get started. And in just a few clicks, literally a few clicks in about 10 minutes of your time, you will be running your first deep learning computer vision model from that camera. So what's new with the DeepLens 2019 edition? Well, we've gone from only being available in the US to being delighted to announce that it's now available in 7 new countries. So we're in Canada, Germany, Spain, France, Italy, Japan, the UK, and also in the US. You can now run the models 2 times faster thanks to SageMaker Neo. And we've added several new tutorials that we'll go into a little bit later in this presentation. DeepLens specifications. So you can see here the list of specifications. Critically, it includes an Intel Atom processor. It has a bunch of storage. It has USB ports, and we'll go into how you use those later on in a demonstration. But essentially, it's a computer that enables you to run computer vision models at the edge. And how do you get started? Well, we've loaded it in the console with some sample projects. So when you think about some of the basic things that you can do with computer vision, we wanted to give you a way to build applications straight out of the box. So you can use these models such as object detection that we'll demo later on, activity detection, the famous hot dog, not hot dog, and you can even use those sample models to extend the functionality of those and do even more. Or you can go deeper, create your own custom project and models with Amazon SageMaker and other AWS services. So it's really a platform for experimentation and not only helping you get started really easily, but giving you that platform to build off and extend and build your knowledge even further. I mentioned 2 new tutorials. So we have a tutorial that will take you all the way through, giving you the access to the GitHub code and everything for building a worker safety system. So it uses Amazon recognition to build an application that helps identify if a person at a construction site is wearing the right safety gear. So are they wearing a hard hat or not, which is a definite important compliance and safety issue on construction sites. And then something on a more light-hearted note is who drinks the most coffee. So you can build an application that counts the number of coffees that people drink and create a leaderboard from that. So some other fun ways for you to go beyond, using the sample projects, but then actually go and build and follow a tutorial to build a model. Well, it's good to learn about DeepLens in theory, but how about we actually get practical and get hands-on with the device? I have our resident DeepLens expert here with me today, Tara Janner, who is going to take us through a demo of setting up DeepLens and downloading a computer vision model. Tara, why don't you tell us a little bit about DeepLens from your perspective?
Sure. It's an exciting device. DeepLens 2019 edition is a completely different experience when it comes to starting with machine learning. For developers who have the previous version of DeepLens, you will be amazed to see the easiness of building this entire DeepLens aspect into your demos in machine learning in a matter of few minutes. And for developers who are net new to DeepLens, you'll be amazed to see how quickly you can learn deep learning algorithms right in almost 10 minutes.
Wow. Okay. I want to see it in action. Of course, I've seen it before, but I love seeing the 2019 edition just because it's so different to what we had before in terms of that user experience. So what do we do first? Where do we go to get set up?
All right. So basically, you go to aws.amazon.com/DeepLens. And it's pretty simple. As you can see, it's available in different regions now, which is a great thing.
Oh, yeah.
And also you can probably buy it from here, but the best thing you can do is just register your DeepLens first. So we have the device here, and I'm just going to go click on register your DeepLens. And it will take me through my console experience. So people who do not have their AWS console login, please create one. It doesn't take more than a few minutes. And because for me, I already have my console up, I'm just going to go and click on register device.
Okay.
Best part, the entire experience workflow is very well defined, so you don't have to be too worried. For people already having the previous version, you can register your previous device here. But then we're talking about 2019 edition. So it talks about showing you hardware version 1.1. So cross-check your device, and you could see here it says hardware version 1.1. So you know this is the device you're working on.
Clear.
Okay, and we'll connect the device in a moment's time. So let's just get started and go through this experience. It clearly says what you need to do. So we're going to go take this USB hub. And interestingly, which is the best thing about this device, it talks about having a specific USB port for registration, which makes it seamless when it comes to building your network architecture and using that network to use your DeepLens algorithms and deployments. All right, so let me just go and connect this. All right, and then switch on the device. Just gonna take its time.
Yeah, of course.
Quickly, just a few seconds. And then as you would see, it's now trying to detect my device and says it can take up to 2 minutes. All right, let's wait for it. All right, now you can see that my device has been detected. So I'm just gonna go and click on next. And while I do so, it just clearly defines, what I need to do. So basically, it's now trying to identify the unique identifier of this device, which is basically right there at the bottom of the device.
Okay.
So let me just go and put that number in.
This is so straightforward.
Straightforward.
Yeah.
And the best thing, Sally, which I was talking about initially, if you look into your network, it has already configured the network specifically needed for DeepLens.
Okay, awesome.
It's super
done
powerful.
that in the background.
Exactly. No configuration needed. It is actually a plug and play in true sense. All right, let's just go through the next set of things here. So basically, as you could see, that it has already figured out my wireless network SSID. The status is online. I'm good to go and click on next, which is awesome. It says, give it a unique name. What do you want to name it?
Sally's Cam or
Sally's
something
Cam?
like that.
All right, let's do that. Okay, I like that name. All right, and this agree to basic terms and conditions, and then you click on register the device. All right, it generally takes around 2 to 3 minutes to register this device. And once that's done, we're pretty much good to go and deploy the first ever object detection model, which is in the pre-trained gallery, and we can just go ahead and get started with detecting objects. So
I guess while the device is registering, I could go browse around on the DeepLens website, right?
Yeah, sure.
What is there on there that might help me learn a bit more about the device and what I could do with it?
So a few things, right? One of the key things here is certainly you can look into community projects. So there's a number of things you would get to see what the community is already building. There's some amazing projects which has come in the past and people are constantly building, and you can see them here. Some of them are from our last AWS Deep Lens hackathon winners. And some very interesting projects like Read to Me, I think, which was a very interesting aspect of, building deep learning and kind of educating the kids in a way where the DeepLens can read the book to the kids, just using some of the OCR capabilities, which is phenomenal, right? And there's some more, right? If you click on resources, and most of those community projects, Sally does have some of the GitHub repos, so you can easily go and start building on top of them.
Awesome.
All right, so there's some great insights here in terms of resources. You have some video tutorials. You do have some of the discussion forums where you can go ask questions if you're stuck. Like I know a lot of people who have used this forum have got answers to kind of, let's say, enable voice in DeepLens, how easy it is.
Yeah, I remember that from the hackathon, actually. Developers were super active on the forum and the DeepLens team were in there answering questions and helping people progress. Yeah, absolutely.
And those are the experts, so, it's much easier. And also, how does DeepLens really work with the other AWS services? You can get those insights, like building your first model on SageMaker and then bringing that to DeepLens. You can learn all of that using these tutorials here.
Okay, awesome.
Cool. Let's go back and check how are we doing with the registration. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
While we're talking, it's already done.
I love it.
That was cool. All right. So now that we're here, and you could see that we have pretty much registered the device, it's just time about to go and deploy a project.
Okay.
And you talked about object detection. So we're going to go and build this model right now on this DeepLens. Let's click on this. While you click on deploy a project, I have few from the previous ones, but then basically when you click on create new project, you have few options. One is you can use a predefined template, which is a pre-trained model from the gallery, or you can create a new blank project, which will basically ask you whether you want to pull your SageMaker built model and its ID to kind of build your model again and deploy it to a DeepLens. Or you could just use one of the project templates.
Okay.
Just for the fact that we want to use an object detection, we have something, let's go ahead and use it. So let's say next. And basically what we're going to do here is take the objects, inference it through the DeepLens. The best part is because it's running AWS IoT Greengrass, you're actually doing inferencing on the edge, which means as soon as it detects an object, it'll tell you what that object is, which is phenomenal. And then suddenly you have two different output mechanisms, which can be used on a browser. One is a project stream and the other one is a live stream. We're going to use the project stream because that's what we want to see, what that object is. So you get like real-time feedback in a browser, which is awesome.
So that means we'll see through the browser, the stream with bounding boxes predicting live exactly what the camera sees.
Exactly.
That's so cool. I can't wait to see it.
All right. Now, just to kind of save some time, I already kept one of the object detection model, which is right here. And I can show you what that looks like. So you can just click on it and basically it has a function, which is a Lambda function, where you have written a function to kind of do the object detection and you have the model. So if you click on this, it'll show you what sort of model it is. I think this is an MXNet model framework, which we're using. And then it has some of the interesting insights into where it's stored and what is a model artifact like.
Okay.
Cool. All right. So let's go back to where we were. So we were in devices. Let's look into our device quickly. So this is pretty good. And this is the device we registered. So let's go ahead and click on this. And this is where we were. So let's go ahead and deploy this project. And I'm going to use this project here. Right. So let's go ahead and so simple, right? Just go ahead and click on deploy the device. And we'll pick the device up. And let's review it quickly just to ensure everything looks good. And the best part is if you want to make some changes, go to this function and you can make those changes and save it and publish so that it'll start doing exactly what you want this to do. That's pretty much it. I think I'm going to show you the output, but this will take around 3 minutes to download the model. It's not doing anything, just downloading the model. And then as soon as it's done, we are able to go and start inferencing it.
Okay, so let's come back when this is downloaded and you can show us the output.
Sounds good.
Thanks.
All right, Sally, while the model is being downloaded, let me just do some of these quick settings which we need for this model to show the output of the browser.
Okay.
All right, so let's go here. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to do a video streaming as we showed in the architecture. So I'm going to click on device settings. And what it's going to do is it's going to tell me what exactly I should be doing. So let's say if you are connected to this device using a monitor and a keyboard, basically you would be enabling an SSH console to kind of log on to it. But the best part is we have a video streaming option. So I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to use this on Chrome over Windows. And it says very clearly what I need to do to get that done because we need a certificate. So it says go to settings and then just follow the instructions and download the certificate. So let's go ahead and do that. So it should download the certificate and then we'll go to settings and fix it up.
Oh, and it's the settings in the browser, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
So we have the certificate here, which is good to go. And let's go click on settings. Maybe I should just use this guy here to make it easy. Let's go to settings and then we're going to go to advanced. And then we're going to go to privacy and security. And then you should have manage certificates here. I'm going to click on that, and then basically you should have the certificate here. I already have some previous certificates, which certainly hasn't expired, but basically let me show you what that process looks like. So let me just remove it quickly, and then import the certificate we just downloaded. So go to browse, and then eventually go to downloads, and then just look for the all files option, and then change date modify on the top, and then you can eventually just click on that.
Yep.
And pretty much good to go. And also the password is right there on that screen.
Oh, in that step-by-step instructions,
Correct.
It gives you the password and these directions. And so do you have to do this every time or is it just one time?
Just one time.
Yeah, okay.
You're pretty much good to go after
Per
that.
browser. So if you set this up for Chrome, then you're good. Firefox, you need to do it again. Okay.
Exactly, yes, correct. And then it automatically picks up your store, certificate store, and you're pretty much good to go. Now that is done, I have the certificate here.
Awesome.
And pretty much ready to be used.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and do that then. Or as we're done with the certificate now, Sally, let's go back to our DeepLens console and let's cross-check. The model is already downloaded, which is
fantastic.
awesome. And the best part is we can now see the video stream is enabled,
Okay.
which is fantastic.
This was straightforward, and I love the step-by-step approach, but I want to see it. I want to see it in action.
All right. You want to see if I'm human or not? Or you want to see whether it's a model or not?
Okay.
Let's do how good a model is. It's a basic model, but at least can detect 20 objects, which is awesome. Let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to click on this. Certainly, because of the certificate, you have to click on Advanced and proceed to a specific IP address. It uses your certificate.
Okay.
And let's see what happens now.
Oh,
it's dining. It actually finds the dining table, and you're
72% person, or I'm going up and down, but
yeah, the more you smile, it looks better. All right, let's look at a bottle.
Fantastic.
All right,
yeah.
so we can actually figure out if this is a bottle or not. So currently, it can actually figure out, yes, it is a bottle, which is awesome. But let's see who's there. Oh, that's Brandon. It detects you as a person, which is awesome.
Hey, Brandon usually gets to be behind the scenes, but he's on camera today.
There you go.
Yeah.
7 or 8 minutes to glory, and you have your first deep learning model running on your DeepLens.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think what's really cool about this is, even with this simple model, I've seen developers extend this. So one of the fun things that I've seen done with the hot dog, not hot dog is, it detects the hot dog and then using a Lambda function sends you a text message saying, I've just seen a hot dog. I mean, you could think about really fun use cases at home, like we saw with the cat flap video and things like that of just using object detection to make it into something really practical and useful with, very little additional code required.
Absolutely. It's a game changer. For me, since the day I have been using DeepLens 2019, I think it's amazing. The whole experience is phenomenal. I just can't get enough of it, I think.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for the demo.
It's a pleasure.
Okay, guys, so let's wrap up the DeepLens section, and I'm going to take you through some of the use cases that Tara mentioned earlier and tell you where to go get more information. So now we're going to go into the developer use cases. Tara touched on these earlier on in the demonstration when we went through the website, so no need to cover off read to me. You've seen Alex Schultz in the presentation video earlier on. D is a really fun use case where it makes DeepLens interactive with children. So the device asks children a question and the child answers by showing a picture. So it says, show me a picture of a cow. And then there are a number of pictures and the kid shows the picture of the cow. And then Safe Haven was much more on a safety thing, really helping identify people who at the front door and sending an alert as appropriate. So some really interesting use cases there that really began by using the sample models that we had and building out. We have a number of enterprise customers too. So Fender actually used DeepLens to track hundreds of guitar necks and bodies through their manufacturing facility. So really using that to optimize their manufacturing. And Carnival are really excited because they're thinking about different ways that they can enhance their guest experience with DeepLens. So really excited to see more come from these customers and see it out there in action. So that's you've seen everything about DeepLens. Let's finish off by looking at the AWS machine learning training and certification. This gives every developer, all of you, everybody out there, access to the very same training and learning materials that Amazon developers and engineers take to learn machine learning. It's available now. And in fact, we've also structured it in such a way that you can access the specific work streams according to your role. So we have curriculum that's set up targeted at business decision makers, developers, data scientists, data platform engineers. It's live right now. There's more than 30 digital courses, 45 hours of content. You can go on to get certified. After that, you can take a certification prep course too that helps you hone in on all of the content and the knowledge that you need to be able to pass the exam. And when you get certified, you join this digital community. Just to really bring it to life, I just want to go out to the website so you can see what it actually looks like. Here we are. I've clicked out onto the machine learning developer page here. So this, you can access all of the other ones up here, but I really wanted to show you what's in here. You're given a very specific pathway. So these are the different courses that we recommend you taking. So it goes from ML building blocks and services terminology through to computer vision theory. And all you need to do is go to this page, go through the enrollment, and you can begin taking these classes today at no cost to you. It's just such an incredible program. Like, it's so rich with content, and there is no reason to stop anybody from going and learning machine learning today when we have all of this available to you. So that's the page. You know where to go find it. I recommend everybody go take a look today. What else is out there? The AWS DeepRacer Scholarship Challenge is a brand new program we just launched on August the 1st. We're partnering with Udacity, and we have this incredible offer available where for all the people that go through, enroll in the program, take the course, and go enter into the DeepRacer League, you become eligible to win one of the full scholarships to the Machine Learning Engineer Nano Degree program. So for those of you who want to go beneath the surface and even go deeper on machine learning, you have the potential to get into this Nano Degree program to learn even more about how to become a machine learning engineer. So all that remains to say is, you have an opportunity to learn machine learning. You don't need to go back to college. You don't need a PhD. You just need to choose your ML learning path. And we have put together a suggestion of different pathways that might work for you, whether you want to get started building now, whether you want to go learn hands-on with DeepRacer or DeepLens, or whether you want to go ahead and do more educational content through the training and certification modules. The options are really available to you, and the choice is yours. So we look forward to seeing you again soon. Please go check out our webpage at aws.amazon.com/machine learning/learn, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you.